Hi vision lovers! My name is Rina, you're on the Jesting Ginger channel where we explore the skies, share aviation insights and talk about our favorite topic, aviation. You really liked my video when I was reading the terrible customer complaints about Emirates Airlines, so I decided to do the part 2, but this time about Qatar Airways, the best airlines in the world. And as a real flight attendant, I can tell you for sure if those complaints legit and you can trust them and those airlines are definitely the worst, or they just exaggerated, misunderstood, or people like attention. If you're ready, fasten your seatbelt, because we're flying right into it. Worst airlines ever. What? I already love the beginning. Worst airlines ever. Not surprised they're the richest, since they're ripping people off.
Money, I want more money.
It's appalling that we are forced to pay over £200 for a baggage that we have previously paid for. I'm not going to fly with them anymore and will warn everyone to avoid them. They deliberately don't allow more than one luggage per person, so you have to pay for other, even through other airlines have more baggage allowance. Disgusting airlines, not going to fly with them anymore.
We're upset. Oh, are we upset?
Well, I definitely think that this case is just misunderstanding because most of the people doesn't really know about their rights and they don't check allowance policies before the flight. Majority of the airlines allow you to have one check-in baggage and one carry-on baggage.
What do you mean this is it?
And in this case, I think person had two pieces of check-in or carry-on luggage, most probably check-in luggage, so they ask that person to pay for it. And the part about previously paid for, they ask once again to pay over £200. Most probably that person had a stopover, like a connection in Doha, so it was something Doha Bangkok, and that person was told on the first sector that they have more luggage that they should and they need to pay for the second piece, and they paid, but in reality they need to pay for two sectors because even if it's one booking, it's still two separate flights.
Surprise, surprise.
And you need to pay for your bag twice as well if you want to upgrade on your flight. That's even if it's one booking, you're going to be upgrade for the specific sector you are asking for. It's not going to be for the second one as well. It should be mentioned by the check-in staff or the crew if you're doing upgrade on board. So in this case, I just think that person just didn't check company policies and allowances they have on the ticket. So to avoid this kind of situation, just check how many pieces of the check-in luggage and carry-on baggage you have complimentary with the airlines. If you have extra, you will need to pay for it. Worst airlines ever. Train your staff, guys.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Gave different seats and we're family traveling with kids. I booked the seats, then at the airport they change. The lady did not check. I thought I got my booked seat, only they goofed up. Well, it's not the first time. The staff is not informed of the process. This is their first and the last. Well, he is saying that he booked the seats. That means that he was supposed to do the online check-in. If you're doing the online check-in, you have a seat, so you're choosing the seat there and you're getting the online boarding pass where it's mentioned your seat. You don't even need to the check-in counter to check in for the specific flight. You're just going to the, if you have a luggage, you are going to the drop-off counter and they don't check you in on the flight. They just take in your bag. If you don't have any luggage, you're just going straight on board the aircraft. So in this case, he went to the check-in desk and they check-in them and gave another seat, which not gonna happen because he already have a boarding pass.
So that was a lie.
So I think he just didn't check in on the flight. They checked them on the flight, checked in them on the flight, and so they were separated because there was no seats together traveling with kids. So most probably at least it was a family of 4 or 5, I don't know. So they separate them. It can happen. It happened a lot on board. On each and every flight we had a family who was separated, and by the requirements, if you have kids, Kids should to be seated next to the adults, but if there is like two kids, mother and a father, they can split them to two, like mother and a kid and father and a kid. If your kid was separated from you as an adult, then yes, you can ask a flight attendant and like an agent at the gate, so they can help you with the situation, because it's requirement that adults should be sitting next to his or her kid. But in these cases, more probably they were separated to two and they didn't check in before, so that might happen. That's why I'm only saying just check in before the flight. Only one thing that might happen, it's double sitting. It happens sometimes because of the errors on the system, like two person check in on the same seat, and then like the system will allocate you another seat, but it happens super rarely and not for the whole family. So just check in online if you want to sit all together, like in advance, like really in advance before your flight, and then you won't be having any of this problem, because they're not gonna check in you twice on the flight. Never again. My god, this one is so long. Seating was fair but dirty. The old slipper was left on the floor where I sat. I should have taken a picture of this. I was going to use the headset to watch a movie, but the headset was dirty, so I didn't use it. The flight map stopped working before I take off, so people couldn't see where in the world the plane was. The food is the reason for this review and future cancellation. My wife ordered a cheeseburger and it turned out to be extremely salty. It was inedible, so my wife sent it back because she couldn't eat it. The French fries, we think they were French fries, were soggy and recognizable. See picture. The stewardess asked her if she wanted something else. My wife agreed to a beef dinner because the stewardess recommended it. The piece of meat was uncooked and stale. See picture. We think the stewardess was retailing and deliberating gave her a bad piece of beef.
What?
Now the stewardess recommended a chicken sandwich. Since my wife was hungry, she gave in and said okay. Finally, they brought my wife a chicken sandwich. Very little chicken on only one piece of stale, hard bread. See picture. After a lot of thinking, we think the stewardess was racist.
That's racist.
And didn't like my wife because she was from Thailand. My food was diabetic meal. When the salad was delivered, I didn't know what it was. When the main course it was delivered, I did not recognize it as food, but I think I found a piece of chicken amongst the unrecognizable stuff and tried it. It was very small and I ate some, but strong spices were used and I couldn't finish it. It seems like the staff didn't like us, possibly because we did not come from the Middle East. We really felt it was retaliation. We both finally told them not to bring us anything else and put the D&D button, do not disturb. However, they keep asking us if they could bring something else. Now it was like harassment.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I finally cancelled our return flight and are presently looking for another airlines. We were charged 260 fee for the cancellation. I thought I read somewhere the cancellation fee were free. The food is a reason for this review and future cancellation. This is not. At Top Airlines, we do not recommend scheduling a flight with Qatar. You will be disappointed.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
Oh, racist card! It's your time.
Now it's time for...
I think all the crew were told many times that they're racist, but the thing is, Qatar Airways is such a multinational airlines and they have staff all over the world and the passenger all over the world, and Doha is like a hub, and there are not that many citizens of the Middle East who are traveling with Qatar or any other popular Middle East airlines like Emirates or Etihad. So literally, I don't believe that people who work in there are racist, and I know how strict Qatar Airways, the training that they have, and I found this review quite funny because as a flight attendant, we don't cook food on board. It's already pre-made and we just heating it. So in this case, they had a menu. She chose a burger, and it was salty, and like, to be fair, all food on board the aircraft was extremely salty because your taste difference in this altitude, so they put in more spices and salt. So you at least will feel it. For that lady, it was too salty, and the crew offered her the second option. She didn't like it. You already saw the pictures. I mean, that beef is already pre-cooked. They just heat it up. They cannot make it even like, they cannot prepare it fully, alright? And for me, it's just regular beef, and she didn't like it. So she offered her a third option, which is a chicken sandwich, and as I said, we don't choose what side of the chicken gonna be there, it's already pre-cooked. She just heat it up and brought it to the lady, and she didn't like it again. She complained, and I know how strict Qatar is because it's the best airlines in the world, and like Middle East Airlines, if you're complaining, then there are many steps that all the crew and supervisors should take to change your mind. It was similar to Emirates, but Qatar are even more strict than Emirates. So basically, whenever I had a complaint from the passenger, I should offer something else. So that was the case. She offered her other option, and again the other option, and they still didn't like it. So by the procedures, you need to check on that customer regularly. You need to double check what was wrong, offer other option, and check on them regularly, so they won't be disappointed at the end of the flight.
Will, I am going to cook you anything you want in here.
So that's what's happened. Like that crew was just checking on them by the procedures, and when they pushed the do not disturb button, maybe they didn't see that, and they put it like after. They were harassing them, they were just checking on them by the procedures, and believe me, if something went wrong and crew not gonna check on you, not gonna offer you other options, that's gonna be a problem for the crew. You're gonna write a horrible complaint, and then crew gonna be in trouble.
You're fired.
That's how it works in the Middle East in this famous airlines. Like, you need to change the passenger flight. And for me, the funny part is that they think the crew are racist. Like, I think the opposite. If crew doesn't care, like, you didn't like the chicken, that's a personal taste, the crew gonna tell to the senior, they're gonna write a report that you didn't like the food, and it's gonna go directly to the catering, and they might change something, but it's not the fault of the crew. The crew were nice, offer other option, didn't like the second one, crew offer the third option, and then when checking on you afterwards, so make your flight at least a bit comfortable. But you're saying that crew is racist. For me, well, I don't know what to say. And the dirty part, like, it might happen quite rarely, but yeah, it might happen, and crew just didn't see that something was dirty. I don't know about the headsets because they usually go in like in a pack. Well, but these people think they are not from Middle East, so crew are racist. So basically, crew are racist to everyone. Thirsty and dehydrated because of Qatar Airlines' poor service. It was a long flight, and they didn't allow us to bring any drinks on board. Like, once you can usually buy it in the terminal after security, they had an additional security by your gate, and no liquids are allowed, like water or juice. I'm not talking about alcohol. They served us very little to drink, 3 bottles of water with 2 meals, and 3 bottles of soda, water or juice. It was not possible to stay hydrated on the plane. It sounds like a small thing, but I had to get 2 IVs after the flight to get close to normal. It made me ill, hurt all over, and have the terrible headache. I got up multiple times during the flight to request drinks, but while they would let you have a tiny bottle of water, they were not gracious about it. In fact, they discouraged it. I would never fly with it again.
Oh Lord. Again. Again.
And again, know your rights and rules. As you can see on the screen, this actually was a flight from Doha to Dallas, and that's not a regulation of the Qatar, but it's regulation of the TSA. All the flights, American flights that are coming from outstation, from other countries, should have a security point again before boarding. So if you're going on any other destination, not America, you just have the main security check, And yes, you are not allowed to have like a bottle of water. It's a liquid requirement. They're gonna change it shortly. There is a new rules, and some of the airports already have them, but in majority they still allowed only to have like a 100 milliliters, no more than that. And then the duty free, you can buy something there and go on a flight. For the US flights, you need to go through the other security point, and again, you are not allowed to have liquids more than 100 milliliters.
So I keep asking myself now, why me?
But I have like a tip for you. If you're on this kind of the flight and you want to buy a water in the duty free, you can ask them for the duty free bag, the sealed one. So they seal you the bag, like for example, when you buy a perfume and you have a connection and you still need to go to the security point, you just buy the duty free like a perfume and they seal in the bag, you don't open it. And then you don't need to throw it away when you pass it through the security, and the check should be inside. So if you're going for the US flight, you can buy the water in the duty free and ask them to seal it in a bag, put the check in there so you can keep the bottle. I think this person doesn't know it, so that happened, but it's not like a Qatar fault, it's just the TSA rule. But about on board the aircraft, usually they're doing like kind of the VCare. It's maybe they have another name, but anyways it's VCare. Like after services, you're giving the drinks away for the passenger who is not sleeping, and it should be on that flight as well. And Qatar has such a strict rule, so I'm sure it was. And you can also take your own water bottle, like an empty one, and you can ask the crew to refill it, so you can keep it on a flight. That's what I do sometimes. I have my own like water bottle and I ask crew to refill it, and it's free of charge, especially on the Qatar Airlines. So now you know. Next time, take an empty water bottle or buy a water in a duty free, but ask the duty free staff there to seal the bag so you can keep this water passing through the security point. Qatar Airlines is a budget airlines, and it shows. Not service oriented, food is terrible and made my wife sick. Bathroom disgusting in a 14 hours flight, no wonder she got sick. In comparison, Korean Air cleans the bathroom after every customer and serves high-quality food, including desserts and whipping wash clothes.
I'm pissed off.
Phuket is a horrible airport with such disorganized, and people are just not nice. Also, when you leave Phuket, they give you the boarding passes to include your end destination with American Airlines, and those were a mess were issued and we did not sit together. Also, I paid extra for those seats. Would not use again. I'm not gonna be talking about the reissuing of the tickets because it's actually not like an airline's mistake. Most probably it's airport mistake, the ground staff mistake. So we're gonna discuss just the situation which happened on board the aircraft, which is dirty bathroom. You know, Qatar Airways is popular within Emirates crew community for their bathroom, because I cannot say that Emirates bathroom are extremely clean, especially on like a long flight, like 14 hours flights. Because, for example, on 380, there are 500 seats in economy and only 10 crew who are taking care of an entire set, and by the regulation on such a long flight, a crew is supposed to have a break. So at some point of the flight, like for almost 8 hours, if it's a 14-hour flight, it's just half of the crew. So 5 crew taking care of an entire cabin. You can complain about the Phuket airport, but it has nothing to do with the Qatar Airlines. And that's the end of today's video. I hope I was not toxic. But by this video, I just wanted to explain that sometimes it's not the fault of the staff, it's not the fault of the airline. You just need to check, you need to know your rights, you need to know about the security of the flight, you need to check the allowance of your ticket, not to pay twice for your bags, you need to check the TSA regulation if you're doing an American flight, and know what to be ready for on your flight. I'm really curious to see your opinion on this video, and if you want to continue with this reviewing of customer complaints, write me which airlines I should do next. If you like this type of content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, because it gives me motivation to do more of such videos, and I believe I see you soon. Bye.